Alright, it's time for the next DLC for Fallout 3. After playing through Operation Anchorage, I had some pretty high expectations for the quality of the content for some of these bad boys, and the Pit certainly did not let me down. What's great is that the missions you'll get to participate in are completely different from those you just went through in Operation Anchorage. So let's jump right in. Here's the Pit.
To anyone who can hear me, my name is Werner. I come from a settlement to the north. I have information of great value to anyone willing to help me free my people. Please, help us. This message repeats.
You activate this piece of content by following a radio distress signal from a man named Werner in the northwest corner of the game world. Upon investigation, you find that he's a slave who has escaped from a city known as the Pit, a disease-filled area thriving on slavery where everyone is suffering from high levels of radiation to the point of death and mutation. The Pit is run by a man named Asher, who leads a band of slavers who are capturing slaves all over the wastelands to force them to work in the Pit. On top of that, Asher and his leaders have discovered a cure for the disease inflicting all of the slaves, yet refuses to distribute it. Werner, the man who activated the distress signal, wants you to enter the Pit, find the cure, and free the slaves. Sounds like a pretty lofty goal. To gain access to the Pit, you first need to be dressed as a slave, so like Operation Anchorage, you'll lose all of your gear upon entering. Once inside, you meet up with a woman named Medea, who has a plan to get you access to Asher's palace, but you'll need to first blend in with the other slaves, so she sends you to work, collecting steel ingots until the time arises to execute the plan. Unfortunately, slaves designated to collect the ingots are basically given a death sentence, as the area that holds the ingots is infested with creatures known as trogs, which are essentially humans so mutated by radiation that they become mindless animals concerned only with eating and having sex. From here, everything really starts to take off, and you'll get your fair share of combat as you fight off what seems like hundreds of trogs, survive an arena battle, and finally make your way to Asher, where you're struck with a series of outcomes that will affect your morality and karma. Overall, I found the story in the Pit to be much more interesting than that of Operation Anchorage. The whole process from tracking down the source of the radio signal to the outcome of the mission took me about 4.5 hours to complete, though 2 of those hours were spent tracking down the ingots. While you only need to collect 10 of them to move on in the quest, there's an achievement to collect all 100 of them. Unfortunately, I only found 97 and got so pissed off that I just left the area. For each 10 ingots you collect though, you'll be presented with some pretty sweet rewards, which in turn will significantly help you find the remainder of the ingots. Being that you're a slave and have only tattered clothes and no weapons, fighting up the trogs is pretty damn difficult. Overall, the difficulty is significantly harder than Operation Anchorage, simply because you're limited on resources, which makes things get pretty crazy and really adds that element of survival horror to the mix. Along the way though, you will collect some pretty sweet new gear, including a big tool with a rotating blade that slices up your enemies and some silenced machine guns. At the end of the content, depending on how you decide to end it, you'll be rewarded with a perk and access to an ammo press where you can create your own ammo. I thought this was a pretty sweet reward, but you have to travel all the way to the inside of the Pit to use it, which would typically take several minutes, so it's not very practical unless you create a ton of ammo each time you venture down there. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having more fun with the bonus content to Fallout 3 than I was with the original mission. Like Operation Anchorage, the Pit brings you an exciting adventure full of non-stop action. The overall story of this mission was a lot more engaging and interesting than Operation Anchorage, and if you're the type of gamer who likes to collect things while you play, hunting down the 100 ingots will take you some time. You could likely spend another couple hours interacting with all the townsfolk in the Pit as well, so you've got a good amount of content here, plus you get access to some badass weaponry throughout the adventure. Which mission did you like better, Operation Anchorage or the Pit? Leave your questions and comments below. Check out the full write-up, screenshots, and gameplay footage over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter, and check out my other channel, Zeitgeist Other, for gameplay footage. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.